The people who are working on this program who have done such a good job. I stayed up too late watching the Ravens and left a lot of my energy on the field. So I'm here. I want to thank all of you so much for hanging around, particularly the media who has other deadlines, and those of you who have other responsibilities throughout the day. I know that everything that could be said has been said. It's just not everyone has said it, so I'm going to say some more. I want to thank Larry Gibson, Professor Larry Gibson, right here, who has been for years a rock, a stabilizing force, a mentor, as Elijah indicated, and a friend to this community. Aside from being Elijah's mentor, he has also been my mentor for almost 41 years, so I appreciate his passion about this, and thank you, Larry, so much for your kind and gracious remarks and for reading it just the way I wrote it down. I appreciate that. Dr. Harold Carter, Jr., who's here with us, is the pastor of my church and my spiritual leader, and both he and his father for years have kind of given me the spiritual strength and the Bible lessons and the prayerful guidance that I've needed along the way. So I want to thank him. I want to thank our church family that has come out. We had a good service yesterday, Pastor. I didn't get a chance to say it to you, but thank you so much for being here, and your wife and your family, and the family of New Shiloh. Along with so many of you, I'm joined this afternoon by my wife Tiffany, by my sons who are here. I think, oh, there they are. Stand up. Kweisi Mfume Jr., Christopher Mfume, and Michael is somewhere in the back. Okay, here we are. And my grandkids who are here. And I want to thank my sisters. And in retrospect, I just want to say a word on behalf of my late mother, who never saw me grow into adulthood, and who unfortunately passed away in my arms when I was 16, that we don't write the script of life, she often told me, but we always have to perform it. And I feel strongly about family, but I have to, bear with me if you would, because I believe in thanking people. I also need to just say, in addition to the persons that I've mentioned, I'm going to come back to family in just a moment. I want to thank Bishop John R. Bryant, who is here, the AME Church. Bishop Bryant gave an invocation the day I first took oath of office on December 12th, 1979, and Norman Reeves was being carried to the stage that day because he had muscular dystrophy, and only the two of us were fortunate enough to get elected. And I remember John Bryant saying in his prayer that just as Norman is being carried to the stage to be sworn in on the back of someone, that all of us who are fortunate enough to serve in office are carried on the backs of men and women, nameless and faceless, to get to where we are, and that what we are and what we will have would be a sacred trust. I never forgot that, John, not at all. He's joined by his wife, Dr. Cecilia Bryant, by one of the first interns I ever had, my adopted son, who I took to get his driver's license and who worked for me and who's gone on to do great things. All of you know him as Reverend Jamal Bryant from Atlanta. Thank you for flying up from Atlanta, Jamal. I really appreciate that. My thanks also to Dr. Thelma T. Daly, former national president of Delta Sigma Theta, head honcho at the Links Incorporated. Every organization you can think of with good, strong, fighting women, she has been at the forefront. Thelma, thank you as always for coming here and having been such a great friend over these many, many years. Ms. Beth Wong, who was with our 2006 campaign, has signed up again. Beth, where are you? We're kind of putting the gang and the band back together again, like the Blues Brothers. Dave Shapiro, former delegate, and my buddy from many, many years, who is here. Thank you, David, and thanks so much for making the time to be here. Frank Babushi, who I first ran into in the Schaefer administration, who's always been a good soldier. Frank, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm afraid I don't want to miss anybody, so let me acknowledge former Senator Joan Carter Conway, the mayor of Northeast. I see former Mayor Sheila Dixon is here. Sheila, thank you very much. We cut our teeth together, coming up together, so thank you for being here. Somebody will slip me a note before I get off the stage to let me know who I might be forgetting. I do want to acknowledge Garnett Hall, who is with the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rites, and to all my brothers of the craft. We are all Prince Hall, Maryland Masons. Thank all of you for being here. There are a couple of people who are not here who said, please let them know I'm with you. Dwayne Wickham, former columnist with USA Today, and Reverend A.C.D. Vaughn of the Sharon Baptist Church, and several others that I'm going to mention at another point in the program because I'm trying to rush through this. I want to thank all of you who've come here from the NAACP. Thank you. Thank you for 9 years of great work. All of you. Those of you who are here from Morgan State University, students and others, thank you so much for being with us. Now let me go back to family. My sisters and I, God has spared us with life to be around, and so we have stayed together as a family and have grown up in the lessons we learned when we grew up together in abject poverty. In a segregated community long ago, where my mother and my sisters were actually made, along with myself, to ride the back of the bus. So I know that experience. I remember what it was like. I didn't understand it as a child, but I did understand that there was something different, according to my mother. It was called freedom, fairness, justice, and fair play. And she said, I won't be around to see it, but that day is coming. In those days, unlike these, we were learning as a nation the painful lesson of discrimination and trying as a nation to find our way out of that dark past. But that never caused my family or me to question our worth or to question our bond. Oftentimes when we needed shoes, my mother would take us downtown on the back of that bus to a store that we could not enter, and she would put my foot on a brown paper bag, draw the outline of my foot, cut it out, and then go to the rear entrance of the store to give it to a salesperson who would then go and take it and place it in a shoe until they found one that fit. Oftentimes, we were, like many of you, trying to figure out life at a much younger age. And despite the Supreme Court ruling of Brown versus the Board of Education that technically started the process of doing away with segregation, I never had the experience of knowing what a white classmate was like until I got to college. So